There we go. All right, chat. Come on, you can do this. I have faith. I have faith that my chat will work. It only takes like a few minutes. There we go. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Kelly Penders, what's up? Hello. Yes, Taylor's Tavern Tales. Yes, that was her. She did a little sponsored spot for Layers and Legends. Yes. So now you get to see her smiling face before all live streams for the next 6 months. And that's how long our contract lasts. And then when usage rights run out, we can renew them if we want. So it might be longer than 6 months. Eee. Fred, what's up, dude? How you doing, buddy? Tachio, hello. Tian Torney, what up? Hey, we should just go full screen, right? Yeah, what up? Tian Torney, hello. PR. Oh, we gotta guess what that means. PR. Preston Relish. Preston Relish. Okay, so if your last name is Relish, then Relish is really good. But like, not too sweet though. If it's too sweet of Relish, then you want like, I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Sweet Relish or like non-sweet Relish? We have two options. Of course, Preston, I'm sure you have an opinion because it's your last name. Israel, what up, dude? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again, man. The Roch Crockett. Sorry, I got it screwed up. The Roch Crockett. Oh, crap. I'm getting your name screwed up. The Crotch Rocket. I get your name screwed up every time, dude. I'm so sorry. Princess Canuto, what up? Hello. Cats in the Box. Jade Gorton, what up, dude? Keith Rawson, hello. Oh, we met. Sweet. Yeah, dude. I love meeting people at conventions. It's sweet. Gen Con was awesome. I'll be at Gamehole Con is my next one that I'm going to be at. And I'm strongly considering PAX Unplugged, but that one is a little bit more, it's in a big city, which I know that Gen Con's in a big city, but Indianapolis is not like, it's a big city, but it's like, I don't know, it's the Midwest city. And I don't know, cities out on the East Coast, I think are a little bit scarier to me. So, but anyway, I'm thinking PAX Unplugged, I'll probably be there. We'll see. I'll have to fly to that one, or it's like a 10-hour drive where I'm at. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, Emilio, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Dennis Thornton, hello. MC Tasman, what up, dude? Yes, back for the live stream. The Nuevo DM, what up, dude? The kitty? Oh, that's a dog right there. She's like pushing her. Look at her. She's just pushing her. She's like going in circles. Where is she? Where is she? There we go. She's pushing her bed off the camera. She's like, I'm just gonna turn in circles, slowly moving my bed until I'm no longer on camera. This is what she's doing right there. Freight Train, hello, what up, dude? Good to see you, buddy. Dana Mission, what up, man? Did you get a new internet service provider? No, I didn't, not yet. I should when I have time. I'll save $50 a month. I really should do it, but it's rough. I did turn my VPN off. That was literally what was causing the issue after the last stream. My VPN was strangling my internet speed. I did a couple tests, confirmed it 100%. So I have it off now. I have a pre-stream checklist that I go through to make sure everything's set up, and I added turn VPN off at the beginning of all my streams now, just to make sure I don't get strangled. It doesn't usually do that, but for whatever reason, it was strangling me. Dice Quake, what up, man? Ratsuka, hello. Mr. Linux Minis, what up, dude? Sazzy Molassie, hey, good to see you again. T2 the Money, what up, dude? ELH Scale Model Garage, that is a long name, man. We should just make that ELH SMG. SMG. Let's just call you SMG. That's cool. I like that. We're gonna go with that. Bombard the Bard. Hello. What up, man? You grew up an hour outside of Philly. It's not too bad. If you grew up an hour outside, yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm not a big city guy. I don't like big cities. I don't like big cities. Trinda, hello. What up? Marcin, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Submachine gun? Yes, SMG. Yeah, just pull some Uzis out. Or a Tommy gun. Yes, exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so live stream. It's a Q&A, so you just throw questions in the chat. I will answer them. As soon as we start getting some questions coming in, we'll just start answering questions. We do have a giveaway going on today. I have my reminder thing of all my sleazy plugs for you. The first thing is we have a giveaway going on. You can win $50 DM Lair store credit. It's free to enter. You just click some buttons and do some stuff, and then you can enter the giveaway. We'll draw the winner of the giveaway at the end of the live stream. $50 DM Lair store credit, where you can get cool things like the secret art of game mastery. My team and I when we wrote this, my team and I, everyone who was on the team at the time had over 100 years of game master experience, and we packed all of the stuff in our heads into this book. So you can get this over on the dmlairstore.com. We also made a couple journals, basically. This one right here, the secret art of preparation, helps you prepare for your games, and this one, secret art of note taking, helps you basically take notes during your games on things that are useful. For instance, there's something I call plot points, future plot points, that I take notes on in all my games. So these are literally the templates I use in my D&D games. You can get them, and they are in these beautiful, they come in like all this protective stuff so they don't arrive broken. They have like 3-ring binders and stuff, so you can print more pages, you can take them out, all that kind of cool stuff. They're literally templates for you to use to prepare your games and keep track of your campaign while you're running your campaign. So you can get those on the dmlairstore.com. And if you win the giveaway, then you can use the giveaway money to get those if you'd like. We also have some of the alt covers still remaining. Leather alt covers. I don't know how many are still over there, but they're not going to be there forever. There's only one print run of these. Once they're gone, they're gone. And these things are like, obviously I said leather, but also it is foil embossed. So embossed means that, it's like pressed down, so there's texture to it. You know what embossing is. And then there's foil. It's foil embossed, so it's beautiful. It's delicious. So you can get those over there too, while supplies last. All right, what was the last thing? Oh yes. All right, cool. So doing questions. Whee. Oh, I have Earl Grey tea tonight. It's been a while since I have had Earl Grey. I had to go to the store today, and I saw Earl Grey, and I was like, I gotta get Earl Grey. It's been a while since I had some of that crap. Sassy Molasses says, how would you deal with a player who also is a DM who likes to overstep in your own game? I would probably tolerate it to the extent that that I feel that it should be tolerated. I will tolerate a certain amount of things that I find unsavory, but there's always a limit. So once I feel that you don't need to get out your Uzi for every single problem. That every time somebody toes the line, or their toe slips across the line into a territory that you don't like, or they shouldn't go, whoever writes the standards of should and should nots, you can't just go crazy. You can't go Hodor every single time somebody does a little tiny encroachment across the boundaries, right? Because then you'd spend your whole game session freaking out at people. So my cats are making noise. So you tolerate a little bit of it, right? But when it goes too far, that's when you step in, Now, this is going to be to your taste, and possibly depending on the circumstances. If somebody's overstepping their bounds, and they're usually a game master, but they're a player and they're overstepping their bounds in the game, then you call them out on it, essentially, as politely as possible, as diplomatically as possible. You might do it in front of the entire group. You might do it privately. It depends on the situation and the gravity, I think. My preference, generally speaking, would be to talk to the person privately about it. It can be during the game session. You can just, at the next break or something, just take the person to the next room or whatever and just say, hey, blah, 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 blah. When you were doing this thing, that's kind of my domain as the game master, and I felt that you were kind of towing that line a little bit of crossing from player into game master territory, and I kind of didn't, I don't know, it didn't sit right with me, So you gotta talk about it. Now you could just do it in front of the entire group, depending on the gravity of it. And I don't know what the specific situations are, and it would be case by case. But once you feel like the person's gone too far and you've been tolerant enough, then you call them out on it, is essentially what you do. And you have that conversation. You know, someone once said that, there's a quote that I'm probably going to butcher, but somebody once said something along the lines of, your impact in the world is directly proportionate to the number of difficult conversations you've had. In other words, the more difficult conversations you've had, the more chances that you're actually making a positive like impact in the world or in society or in your life or in your relationships or whatever. You know, in other words, difficult conversations are many times necessary, and they're many times the things that get progress, you know, and take us beyond where we are and maybe toward where we want to go. So anyway, that's what I would consider doing. All right, what is going on over here? It looks like I have some people gifting memberships, is what it looks like. Cool. How does this work? I don't even know. I think I saw a message from YouTube saying that people can gift memberships now, but I never paid attention to some of that stuff. So it looks like Tien Tori gifted 5 DM Lair memberships. Thank you, Tien Tori. That's super cool. So a whole bunch of people got gifted memberships by that. And then Trader SO2 is like, no, I'm going to gift 10 memberships. Very cool. Thank you, Trader SO2. That is awesome. Very, very cool. So everybody who just got gifted a membership, you will notice that you should now have some flair next to your name. You'll have like a little egg or a dinosaur or something next to your name. And then in the chat, I can see your names as different colors, which means that I know you're a member, which means that I prioritize your questions and stuff, because that's just one of the perks of being a member. So now 15 more people are gonna be whatever you want to call it. They're gonna percolate to the top or whatever. So thank you for the gifting of memberships. I appreciate that. That's super cool. Oh, this just tastes so good. All right, what do we got going on here? Looking for questions in the chat. Ooh, here's one. Frank Pendergast says, question, is mount and dismount your horse an action, bonus action, or free action? Yes, stupid mounted rules. I have been binge watching Triet Monk's Temple. He is a D&D YouTuber. He got an advanced copy of the new player handbook, which I didn't get because I'm not cool enough. It's actually like a badge of honor. You know, Wizards doesn't like me. It's a badge of honor. I'm not cool enough. But anyway, I didn't get one, so, which is fine because I probably wouldn't have time to read it anyway. Although I'm gonna have to order the stupid thing so I can read it and kind of like, you know, be intelligent and stuff and whatever. So, but anyway, my point is, sidetrack there. My point is that he got an advanced copy of it, and he's been releasing YouTube videos like almost every day talking about things from the player handbook, and I've been listening to a lot of them. And one of the things I remember from, I think his first video, is that he mentioned, if I remember correctly, that the mounting rules did not change a whole lot, if at all, in the new version that's coming out. Which you can't really call it a new version because it sounds like they really just did a remastered. They did essentially, from what I can tell, not having had the physical book in my hands, but listening to people talk about it and review it, is for the new player handbook coming out, it's essentially 5th edition remastered. They did some tweaks here, some rebalancing and stuff like that. And looks like that's all it really is so far, which I think is spectacular news. I'm very happy to hear that. I publish 5th edition books, and so it really makes my life easier if they don't make a new edition, you know, and they just kind of tweak a few things here, because then it has minimal impact on my publications and stuff, which is super useful to me. So I'm really happy to hear that. But the mounting rules. So what do the mounting rules say? Let me get my player handbook. I'll look them up. You guys can't just knock everything out of the ground. All right, what page are the mounting rules on? This is how we handle every rules question. We go to the book and see what the book says, because the book sometimes gives us the answer. So what page is mounting and dismounting? Mounted combat. Mounted combat. See under combat. 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 Mounted 198. Page 198. All right. Once during your move, you can mount a creature that is within 5 feet of you or dismount. Doing so costs an amount of movement equal to half your speed. There you go. So it costs half your movement to mount or dismount. I think I answered the question. What was the question again? I think I answered it though. Pretty sure I got it. Is mount and dismount your horse an action, bonus action, or free action? There we go. It's none of those. It literally costs you half your movement speed. There's your question answered. All right, cool. That was a good one. And next. I think I answered it in the first sentence. Second sentence. Second sentence. That's efficiency. That's what that is. MC Tasman says, I just started Into the Fae and Foundry and have to build the whole world. How do you make the less tedious job to do? Love the module, by the way. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me tell you how I'm in a similar situation. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm literally going to show you my Foundry. I'm running Escape from the Fae right now. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going to pull up my Foundry, and we're just going to look at my Foundry really quick. And I'm going to show you how I do this. It's quasi easy. We'll say it's quasi easy. Let me log in really quick, and then I'll just show you my screen once I get logged in here. Come on, baby. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? I think I'm logged out of my... Forge. What? Why is this not working? Forge. Foundry. Oh, okay, I signed in with Google. That's why it's not working. I'm like, why doesn't my password manager can't find my password? Because I used my Google account to join them, which makes sense. Sometimes I forget. All right, so let's go to my games. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm doing. This is how I got it set up to make it it's as easy as you can get almost. So Escape from the Fae. So I'm running Escape from the Fae right now for my patrons. I have 5 patrons who play Escape from the Fae right now, and I think we play a couple weeks from tomorrow. So I'm gonna launch this, and that'll show you what I did. Are you launching it? Yeah, it's thinking. It's thinking. All right, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, it's loading. It's loading faster and faster and faster. Ah! It's the stupid load bar. It's like, we're there. No, we're not. We're there. No, we're not. We're there. No, we're not. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Dagoth. Where am I at? Dousing the Ember. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? Okay, so this is like one of the maps. This is actually from Into the Fae. This is one of the Into the Fae maps. And literally all I did is I load the map into Foundry. So what you're gonna want to do, hold on a second. Forge. So the way to get this set up is you're gonna go into your assets library and you're gonna create some folders here. And this is my Escape from the Fae folder, and then here are my adventure maps. And I load my maps into my assets library right here, and then once I'm in the forge over here, I can just make a new scene. I can create a new scene right here, and I add a map to it basically, and I just link it back to my library over here. And then once I have the map there, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use Fog of War. So I don't use dynamic lighting. When I put the map in Foundry myself, I don't use dynamic lighting. It's too much work for me. I just use Fog of War. And I have, if I remember correctly, I have a module for Fog of War that I use. Let's get rid of this. Fog. It's just taking forever. It's usually not this slow. The Forge is like, hey, you know what? We're getting free publicity. Let's just be slow today. So people are going to be like, wow, that site sucks. Good call, Forge. It's actually like Friday night. So I bet lots of people are playing the game right now. And that's probably why it's slow a little bit. So I have a Fog of War module. I don't know which one it is, but there is, I think it's called Simple Fog or something. Oh, Fog of War. Did you actually search for it? Fog. Simple Fog right here. So this is the module I use, Simple Fog, Manual Fog of War. And it basically allows me to, I can go on here and let's see. That's the fog, right? There we go. And I want to, nope. There's a way for me to, let's see, brush tool. How do I turn it so that oh, there it is, the slider. Okay, there we go. Now I can hide stuff. So you can hide stuff, and then with this one, I can reveal stuff. Whee! And that's what I do. So it makes it super, super easy. And then the other thing you're gonna have to do is the tokens. So I have tokens. So what I did is they're actually, I think they already fought this fight. These are the characters right here in my game. And then what I did is over here, I just created my own tokens. So these are the tokens for the monsters. So I literally just created my own tokens and I just loaded them in here. But here's the thing, if you open these up, there's no stats or anything in here, 0 stats. Because what I do is I have the stat blocks printed out on my desk and I roll physical dice. I don't actually roll dice using the VTT at all. I roll physical dice. And my players, I think my players roll I think one of my players rolls physical dice and the other ones have their characters set up. All of the rest of them, if I remember correctly, I think all of the rest of them have their characters completely set up in Foundry. And so they use Foundry to roll their dice. They could use physical ones if they wanted to. In fact, one of them does. And that's pretty much how we play the game. But it makes it so that setting it up is really easy for me. I literally just add a map in there, which takes maybe 5 minutes because the maps are already made. And then I add the tokens. And if you're playing if you're playing Into the Fae, there is a token pack that has all the tokens made for you. You can just, so the tokens, what you're gonna need to do the tokens. So if you go back to you'll have to add the tokens to your asset library, which is over here. And then you're gonna go into, I have Escape from the Fae. Here are my monster tokens. And so, where are the other ones? Oh, okay, here we go. So you just add your monster tokens to this asset library and then you can hook them up over here. By the way, I'm running this in Forge VTT, which gives, it's Foundry, but it puts Foundry online so my players can always access their character sheets. I'm not running Foundry on my own computer and then having people hook up to my own computer. I don't do that. I run it with Forge VTT. So if you're not using Forge VTT, then things are going to be different for you in Foundry, but it's probably very similar, I probably guess. Except that instead of linking things to Forge VTT, when you're connecting maps and tokens, you're probably just going to be pointing them at your computer wherever you have them stored on your computer. But that's how you would basically set it up. And it doesn't take that long. It probably would take me about 15 minutes to take an adventure and get it set up on Foundry to be able to play in my game. It's with Fog of War, which is actually my preferred. I like Fog of War. The dynamic lighting is a little overrated in my opinion. I prefer Fog of War, but that's just me. I know a lot of people love dynamic lighting, but that's how I get it set up, and that's be pretty quick for you. It's pretty streamlined once you do it a couple times, and you get the hang of it. All right, there we go. There we go. Show and tell time is over. Woo. Next question. By the way, if you asked a question, please feel free to repost your question because people ask questions and then I get on these tangents and, well, that wasn't a tangent. I was directly answering your question. But I get on these talks and then I come back and I missed a bunch of people's questions and stuff like that. And also, for what it's worth, I get more questions in a live stream than I can actually answer because I try to give in-depth answers, as you can see. So it means I can't answer all the questions. But I actually just opened up a new Patreon tier for people who want to ask me questions. It allows you to ask me directly a question. I have a little app on my phone that allows us to send videos back to each other, back and forth videos to each other, where you can ask me a question and then I will answer you a question on video. So if you have a question that I don't get to, you can join my Patreon and join that tier. There's a specific tier for it. Look for it. I think it's called Ask Luke or something like that. Join that tier and I will directly answer your question, and then we can have a back and forth over it. And I try to give you good detailed answers to that sort of thing. So if I can't get to you on the stream, I have a Patreon tier for that, but I'll do the best I can, obviously. And super chats always get priority. And I think I actually have a super chat that I should probably pay attention to over here. Sassy Molassie says, thank you for the advice. Your videos and live streams have been a great tool for me and have helped me so much in DMing. Amazing content. You were very welcome. I'm happy to help. Super happy to help. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then what else did we have? Oh, we have a giveaway going on, ladies and gentlemen. Join the giveaway. Join the giveaway. There's a link in the chat, hopefully, where you can join it. It's free. You'll get $50 DM Lair store credit. We'll draw the winner at the end of the stream. And we still have some of these leather alt covers for Secret Art of Game Mastery over on the DM Lair store as well. These things there was one print run ever, and once they're gone, they're gone. So if you win the giveaway, you can go grab those if you want. You can go grab them if you didn't win the giveaway too. Either way, but join the giveaway. It's free, 100% free. All right, let's see. Questions. Did people repost their questions? Like I asked? I command you to repost your questions. There's only about 30 left. Okay, cool. I thought we had more than that. They must be getting bought up. I love this tea. It's been so long. Baby. Is the content in Layers and Legends integrated for Forge VTT? No. Layers and Legends 1 does not have any VTTs available for it. For Layers and Legends 2, which we just got done kickstarting, that one is going to have a Forge option, or I'm not a Forge, I should say Foundry option. That one will have a Foundry option. But the other ones do not. We've kicked around the idea of making like different VTTs, or like modules like Into the Fae and Layers and Legends compatible with the different VTTs. What we always run into an economics problem. There are so many different VTTs that are out there, and it's a pretty big cost for us to convert one of our products into a given VTT. And this is just like, it's just running a business stuff, right? Like if you spend $5,000 converting a product into a VTT and 5 people buy it and you make $100, you've lost a lot of money, right? And then if you multiply that by all of the VTTs, you can see how if you can't sell enough units of them, you quickly run into a problem. So that's kind of the thing, right? So we're dabbling our toes into that a little bit with Layers and Legends 2 and putting that content in a Foundry to see how that does. But because like we don't run our business on like loans and stuff, and so I have capital that I can work with, and I have to make business decisions about what I'm going to use my capital to do, right? And so I can't just be like, yep, let's just put everything in every VTT that exists, right? Because I might just go out of business because I just spent $100,000 and then nobody buys it. So it makes doing that sort of thing. You have to be very judicious about where you spend your money and what you spend your money on, you know? Now, if I made $2.2 million in a Kickstarter, yeah, I could probably put it in every single VTT available, right? But we don't make that kind of money, right? So we do what we can. We're dabbling our toes in it right now. So there you go. Lynn says, question, good sir. My apologies if it's asked frequently. Are you doing another LairCon? I'm not currently planning on doing any more LairCons. I'm just gonna try to go to conventions and hang out with people. LairCon, running a convention turned out to be a lot of work for my team and me. Lots of work. And when you have a small team, you have to think of opportunity cost, right? Like what could you have been doing, right? And so there were things that we didn't do because we were running LairCon for a couple of years. And then we were losing money at our convention too. So you're spending a lot of time and money to do something, and then you're losing money on it, and you could have been doing something else that might have been lucrative. And so what we eventually just ran into with LairCon is like, we're not making money on this, and we're spending a lot of time doing this, and yeah, so we just pulled the plug on it. So there's no current plans to do a LairCon. I will be at lots of conventions. So my team and I are currently working on developing a board game, and part of developing a board game is playtesting. And so I will be going to lots of conventions, playtesting the board game with people. Like Zach, Goliath Cleric, and I meet every Monday, and we playtest the game. And we'll playtest for a little bit, and we'll be like, change this, this, and this. And then Zach is like, all right, let's go change that. And then the next Monday we playtest some more. And so we've been doing that now. And that'll be what we'll probably every single Monday we'll be doing a little bit of playtesting and then iterating on this sucker. But eventually, and the first convention that I'm going to where I'll be playtesting with people is at GameholeCon. And I actually have the events already submitted and they've approved them all, I believe, but I'm not sure if you can sign up for them yet. But I will be at GameholeCon. We will be playtesting our new board game that we're designing. And then I'm probably going to be at PAX Unplugged, and then I'm sure I'll be at GaryCon next year. I'll be at all of those, and we'll be playtesting and stuff. So no LairCon, but you can always come see me and hang out and say hi and stuff. And then, if you can get in one of my playtest groups, then play our board game with us. So, yeah. Rocket Crotch says, question, in your opinion, is it worth it to look into the new stuff that's been put out for 5th edition? I want to be excited, but after Wizards of the Coast licensing shenanigans, my confidence in their stuff is gone. This is a hard question for me to answer because I don't actually have the book yet. I've been listening to some podcasts like Trinit Monk's Temple, especially, about some of the changes, and I haven't listened to everything he's put out. I listened to a little bit of it, not enough to really speak intelligently about it, in my opinion. From what I gather, the new 5th edition, the D&D 2024, the new edition that's not a new edition, it's just a remastered is what it really is. If you're familiar with Paizo's Pathfinder 2, what they did last year is they did a remastering of it, which means that it had been out for like half a decade or something, and they said, okay, we're going to go and we're going to make some little rules tweaks here and there, rebalance some things based on feedback, blah, 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 etc. And so they did a remastered version. That's essentially what D&D is doing with their new edition that's coming out. It's not really a new edition. It's a remastering. It's a changing and a tweaking of the rules. It doesn't seem like it's that much different, except that I have not read. I need to listen to the video where they review the classes is what I need to do. Because I would wager a guess, and please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have the book. I'm not special enough to get the book, so I can't talk intelligently about this. But I'm sure they made some pretty big changes to the classes. That would be my guess. But I'm just spitballing. I'm just guessing, really. But a lot of the core rules, the core game rules, don't seem to be that different. Not talking about the spells and stuff. I'm sure they tweaked some of that stuff. There were actually some things that Trinit Monk was saying that they nerfed. They made it less powerful. And the ones they made less powerful, certain things that he was mentioning they made less powerful, I think needed to be less powerful. And so I was like, wow, that's really cool. They're reining in the power a little bit. That made me a little bit excited. One of the things that I hate about D&D 5th edition is overpowered bullcrap that makes a game master's life more difficult, that makes it harder for me to run the game. And so to see that they're reining a little bit of that in, now obviously that's just a couple things I saw, but still that was encouraging enough to me to be like, wow, really? Now, until I actually have the book, I can't actually tell you if it's worth looking at or not. As a game master, I'm just going to keep on running the 5th edition that I have until I somehow get the books, which will probably be me ordering the dumb things. But I'm not going to be changing the rules right now. I just started a campaign in 5th edition, and I'm probably just going to leave it be. I don't foresee myself wanting to shake things up and introduce new rules and stuff. I mean, we still haven't. I run Pathfinder 2, and we still haven't started using the remastered rules because we're still learning the original rules. And we all just bought the stinking books like a year ago. And so it's like, I don't want to buy a new book. I mean, I have Pathfinder 2 remastered books, because Paizo is amazing, by the way, and I can ask for the books and they're just like, here you go, have the books. I love Paizo. Working with Paizo and doing things with Paizo is amazing. They talk to you, they're nice to you, like it's really cool. I love that about Paizo. It is super, super sweet. So I do have the remastered books. We're not using the rules really, but they're good. I like them. I think that they're cool, you know, but I don't want to tell all my players, hey guys, go buy new books. You know, that's, they just bought the new books. So, but yeah, I don't really have a whole lot I can say about 5th edition. I mean, yeah, eventually when I get the books, I'll probably be able to talk a little bit more about it, but that's all I can really say. I'm sorry. Tashio says the classes are much better. Oh, really? Tashio says the new stuff is an improvement. Oh, that's interesting. Who is ringing my doorbell? Somebody is ringing my doorbell. Why would they ring my doorbell at 6:41 at night? I bet it's a politician. It's politician bullcrap, because they know that people don't get out of work until later, and so they're gonna come ring your doorbell in the evening because that's when you're home. I guarantee you, politician. All right, sweet. People still hate Ranger though. Yeah, I heard the Ranger still sucks. Somehow the Ranger is worse than the 2014 Ranger. I don't know how they managed that. Don't know how they managed that. MCT Tasman says still is, they just nerfed a few things. Yeah, I mean, there were definitely things that needed to get a Paladins got a bit of a nerf, good. Paladins were super powerful. Yes, Paladins needed a nerf. I still think, although they kept on releasing all of the splat books like Tasha's and all of that introduced new powerful options, Paladin was still really powerful. Paladin was amazingly powerful as a class. So that I always used Paladin as the measuring rod by which to measure other classes. Like if a class is not more powerful than Paladin, it's okay. Because Paladin was so powerful. That was my measuring stick, basically. Dane says, Luke, maybe you should check. Check what? What should I check? I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you can clarify. I can't read the whole chat. What is the best character to use that you think? I love rogues. I love rogues. Rogues are my favorite character. They are useful in every situation. So you have your 3 pillars, right? You have combat, you have exploration, and you have social interaction. Rogues are always useful. Rogues are skill monkeys, so they're always useful in exploration. In the talkie-talkie social interaction, they're almost always useful as well. And a lot of times social interaction has less to do with die rolls and more to do with you talking. That's just how it usually plays out at a game table, even though good game masters will still ask for die rolls. And then in combat, rogues are super good, very good DPS, very hard to pin down and hit. Rogues are just, like, one of the things I enjoy most about being a dungeon master is that I'm always playing the game. Like when I'm a player, many times I'm bored. If you're a barbarian, you're only really useful maybe in some situations, otherwise you're standing around. As a rogue, you always can contribute, you always can do something. So I have always thought that rogues were one of the most fun classes to play. All right, if you have a question, please drop your questions in the chat. I probably missed some, but please throw them down in there. I'll try to get to them. And don't forget, we have a giveaway going on. Please join our giveaway. I mean, I don't know why I'm like begging you to join it. It's free. You can win $50. I'll draw the winner at the end of the stream. Like, if you don't join it, nobody's missing out but you. So I guess I don't have to beg you to join it. But I will let you know that there is a giveaway if you want to join it. If you don't, you don't have to, because you're only gonna miss out if not have potential to win. But so anyway, go join the giveaway if you want to. You can win $50 DM Lair store credit. We have lots of cool things over there on our store, such as my cat is on my book. We have Secret Art of Game Master over there. My team and I put our combined Game Master knowledge, all of our experience, all of our little tips and tricks and things into this book to help you run your games as well. So if you are a new game master who's feeling maybe a little bit lost, not sure where to start, what to do and stuff, we have a lot of that information in here to help you. We also have 2 other companion books, The Secret Art of Note-taking, Secret Art of Preparation, which will help you prepare and keep track of your ongoing campaign. These books contain many of the templates that I use myself when I'm preparing my games and running my games. And we also still have the alt covers, leather embossed foil alt covers. Limited, I mean, there was only one production run ever, and we're down to, I think, 30, somebody said, on our store. So those are available over there. So if you win the giveaway, you can get those if you want, or you can get Lairs and Legends or any of the other cool stuff we have over there for Game Masters. So join the giveaway or not, whatever. All right, questions. Oh, here's some more questions. Yeah. Question: have you run a campaign or adventure taking place in a desert before? What made it work well? I'm prepping one myself. I have not run a campaign in a desert. If I were gonna run a campaign in a desert, I have a feeling that I would probably make resources, like keeping track of your resources or having to find resources. I'd probably make that a thing, like, you know, rations and water especially. I would probably consider how I can incorporate that into the game in a way that makes sense but doesn't become a logistical burden to the extent that it's not fun. Some players are always gonna find that unfun, and that's just their problem. But other players are gonna be like, oh, this is a desert campaign. Yeah, it makes sense for us to track resources like water. Okay, cool. And so some people are going to complain about it, whatever, I ignore them. The other players are going to be cool with it. You're always going to have a player or two that complain about stuff, always. I've always had the players that complain about stuff. I have one right now that I can think of that complains about stuff. And you know what I do? I ignore him. I don't give a flying crap. You want to complain about stuff? Complain about stuff. There's a difference between legitimate complaints and non-legitimate complaints. Let me be clear. If somebody has a legitimate complaint, then I'm going to pay attention. But if somebody's just belly aching because they don't like a thing, because it's a personal preference, but everybody else is okay with it, then most of the time I'm just gonna be like, yeah, whatever, dude, I don't care. Just you always belly ache about this thing, and it's not really a problem, so I'm just gonna ignore you. But anyway, some people are never gonna want to track resources or water or something. But if you're running a desert campaign, it seems like if you're ever going to make that a thing, then that's probably the time to make that a thing. So I would consider doing that. And then heat, right? That's probably going to be a thing if it's too hot out. It seems like you're going to probably be doing a lot of traveling at night, would be my guess. And then just go for thematic stuff, like what kind of creatures live in deserts, and go for heavy theme on that. But also variety. So there's like oases and mountainous terrain, and you can have cold deserts. Don't forget, many of the world's deserts are cold deserts, not all hot. So that could be a thing. And many deserts aren't completely sparse of vegetation. Like, we always think of like the African Sahara with the dunes and stuff, but many deserts aren't like that. They're dry, but there is vegetation. It's all like vegetation that can live in the dry areas and stuff. So I don't know. I would probably, if I were running in a desert, I would probably do some research on deserts and read some books and picture books too. They show me pictures of like vegetation and different like terrain features of deserts and why things are like that. I would study up on that stuff, immerse myself in real world information on deserts, because that's going to inform how I run that desert campaign and probably make it better, would be my guess. So those are just some thoughts off the top of my head for you that probably might be useful. Antarctica is a desert. There you go. Still tastes good. All right. Every Christmas we do a D&D session with my family. It's a short one. What's the best character you think that I should use? I think you should play whatever character you want to play. Whatever one you think would be fun and maybe you haven't played yet. That's what I would do. No, I'm not going to give you a class. You just play what you think we have fun with, man. Did last stream's giveaway actually happen because the stream ended because of internet? I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks before Gen Con. I probably did. I would have to go look at my email to make sure. That's all I can say. Pern says, should I keep the Grell in the new Legendary Mines of Phandelver? What? It's something Mines of Fendelver. I forget what the first letter stands for. Or go back to the Owlbear. Should I make the Owlbear a random encounter instead? I'm not super familiar with. I don't own the starter set, so I really don't know what you're referencing exactly. What level? Can you tell me? Who was that again? Pern. What level is the group? Tell me what level the group is. How many Grells are there, and how many Owlbears were there? Can you give me that information? Because I'm going to pull up a calculator and do some math, and then I'll tell you what I think. So. I usually, these are all SRD monsters, so what I'll just go to, where is this? Tools. I'm gonna go to D&D Beyond for this. That's the easiest way to do this. And then we can do some basic calculations for you. They're level 3, 1 Grell and 1 Owlbear. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna manage our characters over here. And they're level 3. So, okay, that's not gonna help me. How many, it's designed for 4 players. How many players are in your group? Yeah, how many players are in your group? Because that's very relevant. 4 players. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, and then let's look up Grell. And how do I get it? Oh, add it. Okay. So that's a medium encounter. This Grell is gonna die in 1 round. That's not a medium encounter. This is a stupid encounter is what this is. And let me tell you why this is stupid. So you have your level 3. At level 3, the players have gotten a little bit of power by now, and there are 4 of them. Do you know what's going to happen to this Grell with an armor class of 12? First of all, your players are probably going to win initiative. Players usually win initiative, and they're probably going to go first, and all 4 of them are going to attack this Grell. Okay, a Grell has armor class of 12. We can just assume your players are probably going to hit. All right, where's my calculator? I'm going to tell you exactly how this combat's going to go. This is going to be a lame little combat is what this will be. So each player is probably going to do about an average of 6 damage, 1d8 plus 2. So each player does an average of 6 damage. And they've only got 1 attack each, so you can times by 4. So in the first round of combat, your Grell is half dead. It's half dead at 24 hit points, and then it's going to do 2 attacks, a tentacle and a beak. And we can zoom in just a tidgeon here. It's going to do 2 attacks. It has a +4 to hit, which means it's probably going to miss on at least one of them. It might hit on one of its attacks. And then it's going to do 7 points of damage and maybe poison somebody. Maybe. It's probably going to do it's going to do 7 points of damage to 1 player. And then on round 2, your players are all going to kill that Grell. That's how that combat's going to go down. That is going to be a short-lived, lame-o combat, in my personal opinion, based upon my experience. So this is the problem when you have one enemy in an encounter. This is bad encounter design. You should not put just one enemy in an encounter. And if you do put one enemy in an encounter, it needs to hit hard. And it should probably have legendary actions, because the players just out action economy this thing, and it says medium. This is probably going to be a trivial encounter unless the dice really go against the players and in favor of the monster. But if we assume average die rolls, the Grell dies on round 2 of combat after having done probably under 10 points of damage to 1 character. There's no threat whatsoever. This is a trivial encounter because they've decided to put 1 monster in the encounter. That's bad game design. You usually want to have roughly as many monsters as there are player characters. And then you have a way more interesting combat. And then even then, if you have some monsters that are frontline monsters and maybe one is a spellcaster or one is a ranged character, now you start to think about tactics and like, should we go engage that caster? Who can get at the caster? Who can stop the caster? So things get way more interesting when you have more than 1 monster. And things get way more interesting when you have different types of monsters. This is where players start to think about tactics and they get to have these cool little combats. This right here is a boring surround and pound. This is the epitome of all things that suck in D&D combat. So I would not do this. This is bad design. It's bad design. Trust me, I played lots of D&D. This is pretty poopy, so I would not do this. So I would say no to this, is what I would say. Doesn't matter if it's part of a larger dungeon. It's still a trivial encounter, and it's not interesting at all. It's not interesting. Why do you make an encounter that's a surround and pound that's not interesting? Like, encounters should serve a purpose, and this is just like a little boring, lame surround and pound. So it doesn't matter how many different encounters there are in a dungeon. You really should be using a CR 1/2 is what I would probably say. So if we go over to the calculator that I usually use, right here, this is the calculator I use for most of my encounters. Okay, it's not secure. I'm not gonna put my credit card information on here, okay? All right, so you have 4 characters, they're level 3. All right, I wanna have about 4 monsters. I wanna use about CR 1/2. There, now that's a medium encounter. You see? Now this encounter right here will be way more interesting than that stupid Grell. So what you want to do is you want to find a monster that's about CR 1/2 and then have 4 of them. 4 of them. Way more interesting. So off the top of my head, I mean, I don't know, is a Hobgoblin? What's a Hobgoblin? CR 1/2. There we go. So let's put this guy in there. Get the Grell out of here. Goodbye, Grell. You're dumb. All right, there's a Hobgoblin. Now there's a Hobgoblin. There's a Hobgoblin Devastator. Hey, Hobgoblin Devastator, add him in there. All right. And then he's too high. See, he's a CR 4. That's not gonna work. What we really want is some sort of shaman. Here is a shaman. Lizard folk shaman. We could probably put that in there. How's that work? Lizard folk shaman. Okay, there we go. That's not too bad. So this would be interesting. Have 2 hobgoblins, CR 1/2, 1 lizard folk shaman who is a CR 2. Just call it a hobgoblin and you're done, right? Just use the stat block maybe. But this is the sort of thing, and then you have some interesting stuff. You can do spike growth, which is nasty. You can do entangle, utilitarian. Heat metal could be very bad too. Some conjure animals. I don't like conjuration spells in my games that much. But yeah, you could throw a fog cloud for visibility problems. I would throw down a spike growth and make the players trudge through it. Oh, that would be nasty. While the shaman takes cover, or cast is heat metal's concentration. Spike growth is concentration, so you can't do both of them. So this is another example of bad game design, because you have seriously that you can't escape this stuff. It's bad game design, and this is why. So you have 3 spell slots at 2nd level. And if I were to cast Spike Growth, I'm using concentration. That means I can't cast Heat Metal. Well, what am I going to use my other 3 slots for? Well, you could upcast a spell. What am I going to upcast level 2? Am I going to upcast Entangle? No. Am I going to upcast Fog Cloud? No, I'm not. What am I upcasting? A cantrip? No, you can't upcast cantrips. So why do I have 2 concentration spells in 2nd level, and nothing at 1st level makes any sense to upcast? See, this is bad game design. Why would you create a stat block like this? This is brain numbingly, this is stupid. Okay, you shouldn't do this. Like, this is the type of thing that in practice, like, you can sit here and be like, oh, I want to make this monster, that's great. But this is, in practice, this monster does not work very well. It doesn't work because of bad spell choices. All right, and then it's a personal issue. I don't like conjuration spells in 5th edition because they bog the game down and they're tedious to run at the game table. I prioritize gameplay, smoothness, and fun over other qualities. And conjuration spells tend to not work so well. So anyway, I would not use this monster now that I've totally shamed it and ripped it down, and probably made the person who created it feel like crap. But it's bad game design. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? So don't use that. But I think you got my point. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So I should just rest my case on that. Oh, the owlbear. You wanted to know about the owlbear. Well, I should probably answer the rest of your question, and let's look at the owlbear. I should literally just do videos where I take a stat block and I rip it apart and say why it's bad. No. So this owlbear it's still a CR3. armor class and hit points are about the same as the Grell. And now this monster actually has a +7 to hit, where the Grell, I think, had a +4 to hit. So the Owlbear has probably a 50% chance of hitting many of the characters. I just assume that characters, by the time they get level 3, are probably going to have an 18 armor class. Many of them are going to have a 20. And so that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And so I'm probably going to have a 50% chance to hit a character. Okay, I might actually hit. And I get 2 attacks. So I'm probably going to hit about one of them. And I'm going to do about 10 damage, maybe more. I'm still probably, my dexterity is a 1. I'm going to lose initiative. I'm still probably going to be dead in the second round. I'm probably going to have dealt a decent amount of damage to one character, maybe by the time I die. But it's a owlbear, it's a surround and pound. It's not super interesting. So I still wouldn't do this. You want like CR 1/2 monsters, maybe CR 1. That's a better way to design low level encounters. There, so I'll just, they were wrong the first time, they were wrong the second time. All right, throw your questions in the chat. If I missed your questions, please repost them. And I can find them. For a short session, what type of character should I use? You should use whatever character you want, that you feel like you can run well, that you can learn and comprehend and understand, and not have to bog the game down when you're constantly looking things up. And one that you will have fun playing as well. That's the type of character that I would choose if I were playing in a game. Rocket Crotch says, why not a stream rating subscribers homebrew stuff? I would feel really bad because I would be roasting people's homebrew stuff. And I would feel bad. Like somebody would submit, imagine there's somebody who likes me, respects me and stuff, and is like a fan, and then they submit a homebrew and I roast it and I don't rank it very good. I'm gonna make someone feel bad, I don't want to do that. It's different when it's official content because these are professionals, they're getting paid to do it. It's part of their job, so I have higher expectations, and they're just nameless designers somewhere. I don't even know who made this stuff. But when it's a fan or someone that submits it, it's a totally different story. I would just feel bad. And then somebody would feel bad, and then that would be one person that goes off and doesn't feel good about themselves because the dude ripped apart my homebrew in public. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would feel bad about that. One hour in, cat strike. You want to do a cat strike? Fred's calling for a cat strike. All right, let's do it. I shake this one, but I'm actually giving him these. This doesn't shake very well. All right, I got some customers over here. That's the dog. Who else's cats are coming running right now because they think you're giving them treats? Here we go. I got 4 customers. All right. There we go. Woo. All right. Enjoy. He just walks off. He's like, I don't know what this crap is, but I don't want any. Goodbye. Thank you. What kind of systems do you like in your TTRPG? Like Thaumcraft research systems. I don't know that I like systems a whole lot. Systems it depends on what the system is and what it's for. But systems tend to bog down gameplay, and only 1 or 2 players actually care about the systems, so everybody else is just kind of bored. And that's a very general statement. So, like for instance, take a crafting system. A crafting system is probably going to be very interesting for some people, but not the others. Now, if you implement the crafting system such that you're handling everything in between your game sessions and it doesn't bog down your actual play time, then that can be really cool because some players are really going to engage with that and they're going to love it. But if you're trying to do it during your game time, then you're going to have some players who don't give a flying crap, or they don't have the proper ingredients so they can't craft, and then they're going to be bored. And the other players are going to take a lot of time trying to figure out the crafting system because you know how they make these systems. These crafting systems are usually, here's the problem, here's the truth, here's what nobody will tell you. Like, if you're making a crafting system, let me go full camera for this. If you're making a crafting system of some sort, like, here's the thing. If you're publishing books and you're trying to make money, you need to publish a big book. It's gotta have some beef to it, right? Most crafting systems, if you were to take, if you were to take a crafting system and it is literally a 300-page book, if you were to have a crafting system that complex, oh my gosh, it would never get used. It would never get used. And like 1 or 2 players might read it and might try to make it work and stuff. Nobody else would care. So that if you find a crafting system that's super long and complicated, it's because they have to sell books. Now, I tend to suspect that most crafting systems aren't entire books like this. I actually have one on my shelf that kind of is, but it's not a crafting system. It's just a system. It's a system for building strongholds and castles and wizard towers and stuff. And that's kind of an entire book long, kind of. But even that one's not. But if it's an entire book, right, it's just too much. It's too much for one system in one book. So what you generally do if you're going to have a crafting system or some other sort of system is it'll be part of other content and stuff like that, right? So where was I going? I made a point, but I lost my overall train of thought. Oh yes, systems. So if you're implementing some sort of system such as crafting, then do it in between game systems so that it doesn't bog down your gameplay, so you can still run your normal games, which probably involve going on adventures, solving problems, kicking butt, getting loot, leveling up, doing all that cool kind of stuff. But what you don't want is 2 hours at a game table where 2 players are really excited about crafting or whatever, and the other players are just kind of like, this is dumb, I should have not come to this game session or whatever, and they're on their phones probably. So you want to avoid that if you're using like a system. Let's move on to the next question. I think I sputtered out on that one. I gotta refill my tea, which means you all get to watch a random video. Hey, watch this random video.
Are you a dungeon master? Do you want to be a dungeon master? Do you have blue face paint on your face? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you're just like me. Not only do you enjoy smashing players in the face with your axe every time they metagame, but you're also a busy person, and while prepping for a D&D game, well, sometimes that's hard. And as much as you'd like to force one of your players to run D&D for a change, well, they all suck, so it's pretty much up to you to be the forever dungeon master. And that's exactly why I get out my crayons every month and write a new issue of Lair magazine. Well, I mean, it's not just me, I have a team of people too. We all get out our crayons and write it, but Anyway, every issue of Lair magazine contains 5th edition Dungeon Master resources to help you reduce your prep time while still running amazing games for your lazy, good-for-nothing players. Every issue of Lair magazine contains 2 to 3 adventures complete with maps for online play. You know, we also sprinkle in other stuff like puzzles and traps, which, let's be honest, both suck to have to make yourself. So, I mean, wouldn't you rather just become a DM Lair patron and pay me to write them for you? I mean, you know, my team and I, with our crayons? Now, if you love your wonderful players as much as I do, consider helping me to meet my sales quota by becoming a DM Lair patron today at the link below. You'll get a new issue of Lair magazine every month and other cool stuff like map packs and bonus adventures. Okay, that's it. Please become a DM Lair patron now or I will find you.
Uh-oh. Whee! All right, I'm back. Gotta put this thing in here. All right. An angry townsfolk mob is coming. I cast summon cats. Yes. I just shake the treat thing and I got 4 cats. 1 immediately left. 3 of them stayed. And by the end, it was just 1 of them eating everything. Pramakas says, I've been chosen as a DM to run a one-shot campaign with a modern school setting. Ooh. Any advice for the strife and the monsters? Thank you, and I love your cats. Well, thank you. I'm thinking of bullies. I'm literally thinking of bullies. Like, that's essentially what you deal with in school, is bullies, right? And they're probably bullying you on social media and stuff. So the monster, if it's a modern school system, I mean, I would think of some sort of bully that has to be overcome. That'd be my first thought of doing something like that. There might also be like a teacher or something that has it in for the student. Like, I'm thinking of like, what kinds of conflicts do kids in school usually confront? And bullies be one, students or teachers that would be a problem be another. You might have certain, I don't know. I'd really have to think about that. I've never done that sort of thing before. I've never run games like that before either, so I don't know how I would approach that. Huh. I would almost be tempted if I were running a TTRPG in a modern school setting. I would be more inclined to run a very combat light game. Like, my game is probably not going to have a lot of combat in it. I would probably be running something more like a Call of Cthulhu type game, where it was more of a mystery or a horror, and there wasn't a whole lot of combat, and it was more along the lines of, there was some sort of eldritch horror that was alive in the school. Maybe it's in the basement or the boiler room, and it travels through the heating system, the boiler system, and it's like present throughout the school and stuff. Come on, buddy. Come on, let's go. This is Twitch. I would probably run more of a game like that. I wouldn't run like a D&D type game in a modern school system. I'm thinking Call of Cthulhu type game is probably what I would run if I were being asked specifically to run that sort of game. That's what I would do. And I think that would be super interesting and super cool, and you can do some really fun stuff with that. And there just wouldn't be much combat, if at all, until they found the monster in the boiler system. Oh, baby. The first season of Dimension 20 was high school based. Yeah, I remember seeing a little bit of that. I didn't really watch a whole lot of it, but I remember seeing that stuff. What if the Eldritch monster is the school? Like a living monster that feeds off students' ideas to harvest their spark? Yeah, sure. Yeah. That would be cool, and then just flesh it out. It could be anything like that. Whatever, like, gets you... Like, this is the thing, right? As the Dungeon Master, when you're running those games, you really want it to be something that inspires you, that you think is cool, that really gets your juices flowing, because you have to plan it out, which takes time, and then you have to run the game, which takes effort, and so you want it to be something that inspires you, that you think is cool. So yes, if that's the thing that you're like, yeah, baby, then do it, right? I think that's important as a game master. You gotta feel it, right? You gotta love it. Otherwise you're just gonna be like, meh, why am I doing all this work and stuff, you know? No wonder we feel like shells of our former selves after graduating. Ooh, yeah, except I don't like Harry Potter. Like I don't know. I watched one of the movies and part of another, and the Harry Potter stuff just doesn't do it for me. I have a hard time with like I think it's the protagonist. It's like a young kid who all of a sudden has power and he's beating adults and stuff. It all just seems so implausible, like this isn't really this is ridiculous, So I don't know. There was something about the premise of those movies and stuff that was just kind of like, oh my gosh, here we go. It's another kid superhero movie. Ugh. And he would really just get his butt kicked and lose in the first confrontation with anybody because he doesn't know what he's doing. But it's a movie, and we're just, okay. So I guess this is what's gonna happen. So yeah, I couldn't get into those movies. I just couldn't get into it at all. Do you play fantasy music during your game? Yes, 100%. I definitely play fantasy music during my games. So when I play online, I use Foundry, specifically Forge VTT with their Foundry thing. And what I do is I have a module installed. It's a music module. And it literally in this right-hand pane over here, I know you can't see it very well, and zooming in does nothing. So I can't actually make it better, or I can't make it bigger at all. But I have a music module I added that has a whole bunch of different types of music. Atmosphere music, combat music, suspense music, and lots of different subcategories of this. Okay, so what I do is when I'm running the game, I will just, what is this? Yes, I'm here. What I'll do is when they're doing something and I need music, I always have music running, and I will pick it so that it corresponds to what's going on in the current scene. And if we're in combat, I'll pick one of these things, and I'll just if we're especially if we're in a forest, or it's a boss combat, or it's brutal, I'll just pick one of these things, and then I'll start playing it, and it's super cool and it's easy to do. And then my players there's a lot of times in the game where my players are talking or about stuff that I'm listening to them, but I'm not actively doing something. That's when I'll be like, ooh, do I need a new music? And I'll go pick some new music. And then specifically, if you're using Foundry, let's see if I can find the name of the module that I'm using for you. I don't want all these filters. I don't know. These filters never do anything for me. Music. See if I can find which one it was. It's Friday night, so everything's super slow. In the Foundry. This might actually be my internet connection because I'm streaming. That's a possibility. But I blame it on Friday. Tabletop music. I think that's no. Is that the one I used? Yeah. I think this is the one I use. The tabletop music right here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I have it installed. So this is the one I use right here. Tabletop music. Pretty sure this is the one. It's loading, but I think that's the one you can put on here. Pretty sure that looks right, and it's super cool. Now, if I'm running in person, what I'll use is tabletop audio. I'll use this if I'm playing in person, and then what I'll do is I'll just assemble an entire playlist of different tracks, and then I'll just have them loop and autoplay during my game session because when I play in person, I'm at that table right behind me, and I don't have this at my table to granularly control the music, so I'm less able to pick something that's like appropriate to the moment, and so I just have stuff playing in the background. I could probably it wouldn't be that hard for me to start being more granular or specific about what I play in the moment, but. Anyway, this is really cool. Tabletop audio is really good for that. They have a thing for Foundry too. Like you can get tabletop audio on Foundry. I tried to use it and I could not get it to work for the life of me. So I gave up. But they do have one. I just couldn't get it to work because I've been using these guys for years now for my games and stuff. But anyway, I found another one. I found this other one that works really well. So it's actually really cool. So there you go. That's what I use for when I'm the music and stuff during my games. Somebody mentioned the Strixhaven book. Yeah, that was not that was not a very well received book. I don't own the thing, so I can't comment on it. That was one of the few times that Wizards of the Coast reached out to me. They wanted me to do a sponsored video on Strixhaven, and I said no to them because I'd read a little bit about the book, I'd heard a little bit about the book, and it didn't sound that great. And so I was like, nah, I can't do a sponsored video on that. So one of the few times they've ever talked to me, and it wasn't actually them. They had a marketing company that was that reached out to me to do a sponsored video on Strixhaven, probably because the book sales weren't doing that well. And I told them no. And they also had a very fast turnaround time that did not work with me. I was like, I can't do it that fast. I'd have to buy the book. I'd have to read the book. I'd have to, no, I can't do that. But and I know their marketing company was reaching out to lots of creators because I turned them down, and then like not too long after that, under a month later, who was it? Oh, XP Level 3 had a video about Strixhaven that came out. He had a long video where he was talking about Strixhaven. So I know that their marketing company was reaching out to a lot of different creators to try to get some promotion for Strixhaven. How would you one create an emphatic healer class in 5e who heals by taking damage upon themselves? Second edition version uses a PowerPoint system and levels of healing, light, serious, critical self. Holy crap. I have no idea. I don't think that I can homebrew that on stream. I don't know. I have no idea. That would be the type of thing that you would have to take quite some time to figure out how you're going to homebrew a thing where you heal by taking damage yourself. The easiest way that I could think of implementing that with minimal work is to pre-cast a healing spell on a character that when they receive damage, half of that damage goes to you and the other half is canceled out or something like that. Therefore, you're like taking damage to heal them or something, so it creates like a hit point bubble where it gives them temporary hit points or something. I don't know, but I am not prepared in this particular moment to do home brewery on how I might possibly do that. In part because it's a live stream and I just got thrown a kind of a tough question on the spot, but also in part that I just don't homebrew character classes ever. Monsters all the time, character classes not so much. So that also lies rather outside of my wheelhouse, my realm of expertise too, I would say. I'm a game master who homebrews game master stuff. That's a player thing, which I personally don't care about as a game master. So I'm gonna punt that to somebody more qualified. What are the rules on jumping, and do they affect falling? Because a Haragon can jump like 20 feet. So so yeah, the Haragon's the rabbit folk, the rabbit race or whatever. I believe that came out like a couple years ago or something, and there was some talk about the fact that it can jump 20 feet or something. So it's like, if it jumps 20 feet and then falls, it's gonna take damage, right? And if I remember, I don't know what the rules say, but my house rule would be that if you jump 20 feet in the air and then fall 20 feet as part of that jump, then you would not take damage. Because if your body is capable of jumping that high, then it is capable of absorbing that type of fall. And that might also mean that if you were to just fall off a raised area 20 feet, that your body is capable of absorbing the impact of that. That might be the case as well. And that would be my quick and dirty house rule, because it makes sense. Like, what animal can, like, think of a grasshopper, right? Like, it can jump like, I don't know, 10 to 20 times its height, crazy amounts, but it doesn't break its legs every time it jumps. It's just like, it's built into how it works. And so that would be my house rule, and that would take care of it really quickly. All right. If I missed your question, please feel free to repost it. Many times I can't get to them all. I miss them, and then they pile up. And it's not that I'm ignoring you. I just can't get to everything. So please repost it. I'll get to you as soon as I see it back down there. And then also, if along the lines of not being able to hit all the questions, I do have a new patron tier that I opened up where you can ask me questions. There's an app on the phone that allows you to send me your question by video, talking in video. I mean, if you don't want to show me your face, you could probably point the camera somewhere else or cover it up or something, whatever. But you can, if you join this Patreon tier, then you can send me your own questions and I will respond to you over video and voice, and we can just have a little quick conversation about whatever it is you have a question about. So because I know I do these live streams, but I never get to all the questions and stuff. So if you want direct access, I just opened that up. So you're welcome to go check that out if you'd like. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing my best here. Also, super chats always go right to the top too. So if I'm missing your question, you can always super chat, and then I'll try to get to it as quickly as possible. Also, we do have a giveaway going on today. Please join the giveaway. $50 DM Lair store credit, and we will draw the winner to the giveaway at the end of the stream today. And if you win the giveaway, you can go over, you could use the money to get something like Secret Art of Game Mastery. We have lots of these available. It's like 250 pages of Game Master advice. All of my team members and I put most of the stuff that we have into this book to help game masters. And we still have in stock, I heard there's about 30 of the alt covers available for Secret Art of Game Mastery as well. Leather foil embossed covers, one print run ever. Once they're gone, they're gone. And we also have these two books, Secret Art of Preparation, Secret Art of Note Taking, which contain many of the templates that I use myself when I'm designing and preparing and keeping track of my ongoing campaigns. So all that's over there. And if you win the giveaway, you could use your money to go get those if you'd like. All right. Randy Shorts, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. We don't have a giveaway going on right now, Matthew. Ratsuka says, my DM roleplays way too many scenes. Any way to help him pace better? We are 3 sessions into 1 month downtime and only 2 days in. Hold on a second. He roleplays way too many scenes. Any way to help him pace better? Okay, so what he's doing then is every single scene he wants to role play out in character, word by word. And that takes a long time. Right, okay, so I think I'm with you. And you're 3 sessions into a 1 month downtime. Oh my word. Oh, holy crap. Whoa, that sounds brutal. I would probably not. I would probably skip a few game sessions. That sounds brutally boring. Oh, especially if he's role-playing other people's downtime and then everybody else is just kind of sitting there waiting and watching with nothing to do. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, I would not go to some game sessions. I mean, what if it were, I'm a jerk like that. But I'm not going to go to a game session if we're literally role-playing out other people's downtime. And he says that we're 3 sessions into 1 month downtime and only 2 days. So, okay, let's see what we're looking at here. All right, so let's try to see this. Not there. Go to my monitor. There we go. Okay, so it's 1 month of downtime. That's 30 days. Okay. So far, they have had 2 days pass, and it's been 3 game sessions. So to get 2 days done, they've had to run 3 game sessions. So every 2 days are 3 game sessions. 45 game sessions. At this pace, it's gonna take them 45 game sessions to get through downtime, which is arguably the least interesting part of the entire game. I would be quitting that game after I talk to the game master. I cannot do that. That is brutal. Wow. So if I were in a game that had a game master doing that, I would talk to him. I would say, dude, I would do that math right there. I would say, do you realize that we have 30 days of downtime? So far, 2 days have gone by, and it has taken us 3 game sessions to get through those 2 days. At that pace, it's 45 game sessions that we're going to be doing downtime. You realize that, right? At that pace. That's going to take us forever to get through downtime. Downtime. And in my personal opinion, downtime is kind of not even playing the game. Like it's like a little sub game off to the side that's mostly uninteresting. The only interesting thing usually about downtime is it can help you get something cool, like you might craft a magic item, or you might buy something, or you might do some sort of service which gets you a favor or something. But like, and yeah, there's some fun that can be had with role playing it out, you know. Like I was role playing out some downtime in Pathfinder 2 game, and it took maybe an hour to get through downtime for everyone, right? And it was fun. It was fun. You know, hey Danny, what's up? Good to see you. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. So you can have fun doing it, right? But not for 45 game sessions. So I would talk to him, and I would just try to say, hey, you know, that's going to take us like, how often do you play? How often do you play? 45 game sessions? If it's like there's 52 weeks in a year, most people play every 2 weeks or something. That's 2 years. It's gonna take you 2 years of gameplay to get through downtime. I would talk to the game master, and I'd give it maybe a couple more game sessions, and I would leave. You have to leave. You can't sit there for that crap. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I would be leaving. Oh my gosh, nothing. And you're not even playing the game. Like other people are playing the game most of the time because it's downtime. No, man. I would nope out of that. After talking to the game master, try to have a rational conversation with him, but you go, oh man, that's brutal. Oh. You see, it's interesting because some game masters will be like, you know, my players keep leaving my games. Like I have high turnover and my players, I can't get them to stay. Well, this is one thing you know not to do if you want your players to stay around. You can't run downtime that takes you 2 years to get through one period of downtime. It's brutal. Oh my gosh. You can't role play out every little tiny scene. You can't do it. You can't do it, man. Oh, holy crap. Just, okay, this is what you can do. Conversations can be difficult, okay? Show your game master this clip from my live stream right now. Make it easy on yourself. And just be like, hey, I wanted to show you this thing. It has to do with our game. You might want to watch this. I don't know, but I'm not very diplomatic, and I wasn't very pleasant about it. I was just kind of like ranting and raving about how brutal that would be. So maybe you don't want to show him this, because I wasn't being super nice. But you could. Yes, Permacus, it's 2 years worth of downtime. It's crazy. Andrew McManama, sorry buddy, I just slaughtered your name, says, I'm starting my first homebrew campaign tomorrow after 5 years of running modules. It's all been with the same group, and I'm staying in the Forgotten Realms. What advice do you have for me? Just a big blanket question. probably most of the stuff that you've been doing in modules has been probably a good example of things that work, that your players like. If they've been playing with you for 5 years and they've been running modules and they're still with you, that tells you that they probably like what they've been doing. And one thing that tends to be true about modules is they have an overarching campaign story plot line that takes place. In other words, there is a big bad of the entire module and they're doing something bad in the world, and the players have to confront them and stop that bad thing. And they don't usually go right to the big bad. There's a series of events and minor villains and other things that they have to stop and foil first, and they learn about the big bad and the big things, and eventually they work themselves up to taking on the big bad. So if your players have been running modules for 5 years and they like that sort of thing, then consider giving them some more, because you know they like that sort of thing. So that's the safe bet, right? It's a safe bet. So the other thing, though, is that you now have an opportunity to do something different too, because they've been doing modules for 5 years and they might like something different, and now you can actually do something different. So I don't know to what extent you've been incorporating their backstories and different things, because running modules, many times you don't, although you can. There are ways you can do that, obviously, but sometimes you just don't because you're just running a module. If you haven't been using anything from backstories, now is a great time to start doing a little bit of that, because you're now doing homebrew and you can easily do that. And you can have little adventure arcs. You can have an entire adventure that a character and the entire group as well might go on that has to do with the backstory, right? Just make sure it's a group adventure. It's a backstory adventure related to one character's backstory, but it's an adventure the entire group goes on because we run group games, right? It's very, very important, very, very important point. You don't want to design an adventure that one player goes on by himself, because then what's everybody else doing? Either they don't come to the game session, or they sit there and watch, or you're running a separate game session for one player and their backstory adventure, which maybe you got time and desire to do that. And if you do, that's cool, but I don't. I'm gonna run one game for everybody. And so when I create adventures that are based on a backstory, it's something the entire group would be involved in, and we do it all together. So now that you're running homebrew, you have an opportunity to try some new stuff. I would experiment a little bit, but the way that I would do it is, if you know your group likes a certain thing, give them mostly the thing they like, but experiment in drips and drabs here and there to try some new stuff, because they might like it. And then you're gonna find, and it could be fresh, new stuff could be more interesting than old stuff, and they might eat it up. So do the tried and true to a certain extent, but don't overlook the possibility of doing something new which your group might love, especially after 5 years of only ever going after a big bad, because that's what most modules tend to do. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I love that crap. My games are all like that too. So I'm not knocking that at all. It's good stuff. All right, questions. If I missed your question, please throw it back in the chat. You can repost it and I will get to it if I missed it. Let Luke be the big bad guy. Yes, I'm always the big bad guy. Yes, yes, yes. Repost your question. If I missed it, I will get to it right away. If you're new, if you're just here, if you have a question, throw it in the chat and we'll try to answer your question. And we also have a giveaway going on. Please feel free to join the giveaway. I think Nightbot just threw it in the chat right there. $50 deal Lair store credit, where you can get a whole bunch of cool books. We have Secret Art of Game Mastery, super sweet. If you're a new game master or you're a veteran just getting back into the swing of things, this has tons of advice and tips and stuff in it that you'll probably find super helpful. And we also have leather covers. Our special edition covers are still available. We have 30 or so of them right now still. Foil embossed leather. There's only one print run ever of those. They will never be printed again. Not the leather ones. The regular ones will be printed. As we run out of them, we get reprints, but the leather ones, when they're gone, they're gone. So those you can find over on the DM Lair store too, if you are interested. Jade says, how would you handle faction on faction conflict? NPCs versus NPCs. That type of conflict is going to be resolved by me behind the scenes. The players are never, well, let's say almost never, unless I have a reason to show them. The players are probably never going to see that actual conflict, unless they do, and that would probably be a rare thing. But it's going to happen behind the scenes. I'm simply going to decide what happens in that faction conflict. What is the most interesting thing for the game? What can I have happen that will introduce conflict and drama? What could happen between these factions that will draw the players' characters into the drama? What will create problems in the world the players' characters might have to resolve? What kinds of things can I do in the game world to make things spicier and more interesting, right? Those are the questions I'm going to ask. I don't care so much about things being like realistically resolved or fairly resolved. I'm not going to create some sort of dice-based system that I can resolve faction conflict behind the screens, because that's the type of thing, if you want a dice-based system, that is the type of thing that your players would be involved in. And if the players aren't involved, and as a game master, I'm just doing it myself, then I'm going to decide. And I'm going to use storytelling-based reasons to make those decisions. I'm not going to let the dice decide what happens. So I will decide that myself. And then the players will learn about the results of the faction combat. I mean, many faction conflicts are ongoing matters, right? You have this Thieves Guild, and here's the new Thieves Guild that's trying to get in on their territory. And it's an ongoing struggle that happens. So the players might hear about that, rumors at a tavern, or they could very well just be traveling down a street at night one day, and they see a conflict on the rooftops. People literally having a fight on the rooftops, and it's the two Thieves Guilds that are getting in with each other. And then they see one form fall off a rooftop into an alley, and they hear some smashing. And they go over there and investigate, and one of the thieves that fell off is alive, and tells them a little bit about what's going on, and might even try to recruit them and get their help. Who knows? So they might see the conflict in action, but it's going to be in a way that increases conflict and drama, suspension and tension, and it's going to try to draw the characters in, because otherwise, why does it exist? It has to be in your game world for a reason. It needs to be doing something of function of value, right? And you want it to make your game world more interesting, right? And that's why you decide what happens based upon what will be the most interesting and cool thing to happen. Never let dice decide those things when you don't have to have them decide it. For something like this, right? In a fluffy bucket. So, I think that answers your question. All right, let's see. Question. What's up, Squeaky? Yeah? Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Do you know of any D&D Beyond equivalent to manage campaign character sheets by chance? If it has Encounter Manager in addition, it would be awesome. What does... Squeaky, come on, buddy. What does Demiplane do? Demiplane... I'm not super familiar with it. I think... What does Demiplane do? I think Demiplane might do something like that. Because I can totally respect not wanting to give Wizards of the Coast your money, if that's what you're looking to avoid. One platform. Demiplane is the place for digital tools, content, and services to discover, prep, and play your favorite tabletop role-playing game. And I'm pretty sure that D&D 5th edition isn't Creative Commons right now, so they can probably make it games. Let's see. Daggerheart. 5th edition, yeah, they can, yeah, 5th edition. 5th edition Nexus. Yeah, this might be, I would take a look at this. I'm not super familiar with everything that Demiplane does, in all honesty, but this might have the tools that you need. This might be what you're looking for. Character creation, character tools, digital library of stuff. So this might be what you're looking for. So yeah, I would take a peek at Demiplane and see what they do, because that might be what you're looking for. I personally manage most of that stuff by hand. Like the way that I manage a campaign is with OneNote, and then character sheets are just like character sheets, and I can put them on my computer. So I guess I'm old school. In my encounters, I just plan out with a tool and then I write them on a piece of paper. So I don't use online tools for that sort of thing. Do you plan to post a video about how your Gen Con was like? No, I'll never make a video like that because it's not gonna get any views. It's just how it is. Nobody cares about that. That's the type of topic you put up and nobody watches it, and I'll have wasted my time, making a video on that. So I mean, I'm just being honest with you, dude. Like when this is your livelihood, that's what you got to think about. Like, yes, I want to create videos that people will find helpful and that will help them and stuff, but I also got to make a video that somebody's gonna watch. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time, and that's the sort of video that I think that probably nobody would watch. So I probably would not take a risk on doing that sort of thing. Now, if there was something interesting for me to say about Gen Con, then I think that might be warranting a video, right? But it would have to be a very specific topic, reason, and a purpose for doing it. Jonathan Haney says, is D&D Beyond going to force the new rules with their character builder? What about characters already made? So I could see them going either way, because if you go onto D&D Beyond right now, they do have legacy content. For instance, the Masters of the Multiverse book that came out, I think that's what it was called. They basically reprinted the Volo's monsters and the Mordenkainen's Tome monsters with like minor changes, but they essentially just reprinted the monsters in the one book, and they took out all the lore, which was some of the most interesting stuff. But you can still get the old monsters on D&D Beyond, and it's just labeled as legacy content. So I could see them keeping the old rules available for people who want to use them and just have it labeled as legacy content. I could see them doing that. I could also see them not doing that and just putting the new rules up, because that, frankly, if I were a cold, heartless company who cared about maximizing stockholder value, and monetizing my brand as much as possible and just, getting as much money out of people's wallets as possible, if that's all I cared about and I was a publicly traded company and I had no choice but to maximize stockholder value, stock shares and stuff like that, if I were a company like that, then I would probably want people to buy the new books and use the new rules. And one sure way to get them to do that is to, on my online platform, D&D Beyond, which a lot of the customers use, if I were to make it so that the old rules aren't available anymore, then that is a surefire way to get a lot of people to switch over to the new rules. People will be, and it's a mixed bag, right? Because some people are going to be very upset about it, and they will leave the platform and never come back. Okay, that'll happen. And they'll go to something like Demiplane. That's going to happen. But there's other people that are just going to be like, whatever, I like the new rules, and they'll just start using the new rules anyway. There's other people that will be upset and they'll complain about it, but then they'll go use the new rules anyway. So you're going to lose some people, but you're going to gain other people, So I don't know. I feel like if they did it so that the old rules aren't available, you'll have a lot of people that are upset. The real question is the real question of whether they do that or not is probably going to be, well, I don't know. You see, Hasbro and Wizards, they do want to maximize stockholder value. But at the same time, it seems to a certain extent that they're getting a little bit wiser to managing their community in so much as trying not to do stupid stuff to get everybody mad at them. They try. God bless their hearts, they try. but they still can't avoid doing dumb stuff like the copyright strikes against the Jordan guy who's make sure you don't pronounce the PH thing. They still couldn't help themselves. I think they had a third-party law firm or somebody that just handed out copyright strikes. I don't know what the story was, but God bless their souls. They just can't help themselves from. They're such a big machine. It's like one part of their body is always putting its foot up another part of the body, you know. So they're riding the struggle bus, you know, and they're riding the struggle bus. So where was I going? So I don't know. You start to feel like they're doing better, and then they do really dumb harebrained stuff, you know, every few months or so. They just can't help themselves. So I don't know. I could see them going either way. I will optimistically say that they will keep the old rules available, because I think they probably want to avoid everybody getting pissed at them again. So I think they're probably going to leave the old rules available. The problem is you might get to a implementation roadblock, because on D&D Beyond, it might not be as easy to have both sets of rules available in all of the different integrations and stuff. And if you were to make both sets of rules available, that could be a messier way to implement it. So you could make an argument that it's way more cost effective to just update the rules once. But my suspicion, they probably will. You just can't. I don't know. So anyway, those are some thoughts. Jeez. Now my stream is crashing again. Hey, I'm back. It looks like I'm back. Looks like my stream was dead, and it's now dying. Dane says, Luke, it's a sign for a new internet provider. Yes, you are right. It totally is. Man. I mean, yeah, if you have the books, they can never take the old rules away from you. Yes, 100%. 100%. Andrew says, gotta love the honesty. I am an honest person. That's kind of what I do. All right. Demiplane says it will have character creation via 5e Nexus, but it doesn't yet. It says coming soon. Oh, okay, cool. What do you think of the new drink potion action becoming a bonus action? Most groups have homebrewed it that way anyway, so I think a lot of the rules adjustments they made were just to put the rules in alignment with how people are actually using them. I mean, I do the whole bonus action thing for drinking healing potions, so I think they're just everybody's playing it that way, so let's just make the rules that way. I think is a lot of these rules, that's kind of what they're doing. At least the ones that I'm aware of, right? Because I don't have the books. Okay, stream is dying, so I'm gonna draw the winners of the giveaway and we're done. So here we go, drawing the winner to the giveaway. Draw the winner. Draw the winner. Drawing the winner. All right, the winner is, it looks like Lord Grimm from England. Lord Grimm from England, you are the winner, good sir. I will send you an email. We will get you hooked up with some cool stuff off the DM Lair store. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the stream is dying. My internet service provider is a piece of crap. I'm gonna leave now and I'm gonna go pound sand. All right, I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. It has been fun chatting. I will be here next week on Thursday. Whee! All right, I gotta find my buttons. I'm finding my buttons.